In the previous video, we have covered querying items with Houdini. In this video, we'll see how hooks enable us to do several things with the data that's passed on to the GraphQL queries. So let's dive in. What if instead of passing this JIT, somebody passes SID, right? Will this work? It won't work, right? Because SID is not a correct identifier for Shopify related products, and thus you get null as a response. We can totally get rid of similar issues by introducing something called before load hook. Let's go ahead and see how do we apply it. So create a page.ts file over here, plus page.ts file, and within the page.ts file, import error from SvelteKit, collapse this, and then export a function Houdini. Any Houdini hook or any Houdini sort of a callback starts with underscore Houdini, and there you can have Houdini before load hook available. Before load hook receives parameters that are available to your page, and using that parameter you can do some sort of a checking, right? So here we need to make sure that all of the IDs start with GID, not CID or anything like that, right? So what we can do here is we can check if params.id starts with, say, JID. Check just this, right? If not, params ID starts with JID, throw an error. Throw error 400, and there you can say ID must start with GID, right? Save this, come back here, and now we see the error rendered, right? What if we need to do more checks, right? It's not just that we need just the GID here, we also need to make sure that the product IDs start with JIT as well as Shopify and then product, right? So we can just put it here, Shopify product, right? And then we can say that IDs must start with product, right? Let's make it valid ID must start with product, right? It's changed now. Now we are seeing a proper error. So Houdini before load hooks make sure that there is an opportunity for the application developer to have an access to parameter before those parameters are passed on to the so before load hook lets us use the parameter to perform any sort of a validation before those parameters are passed on to the GQL queries. Let's go ahead and type this. Yeah, so if auto inference cannot be relied upon and you have a bit of complex structure for the route parameters, it's not just say string or numbers, and we are not in a position to use Houdini's auto inference or auto param passing and passing it on to the GraphQL queries, what we'll have to do is we'll have to totally get rid of the GQL files and we'll have to create our own version of the query loader. So let's just get rid of this. We'll just copy this, remove this, create a new file, page.ts, and there what we'll have to do now is we'll have to import GraphQL from Houdini, and then we'll have to provide our own load function, export const Houdini load GraphQL, and there we can provide the query, here we can just say query ID string. Once the Houdini load function is defined, we need to tell about individual variable this particular load function expects. So to support that, what we'll have to do now here is we'll have to create one variable parser which follows the nomenclature of the variable name, which is our query name, and then variables that expects the event. And there what we can do now is we can just say return ID, as ID is what this particular query expects, and here we'll be able to do something like open workshop API, copy this entire queries structure. You can do this, and then we can say event params ID. Now, so be careful of the naming structure. So whatever your query is named, the variables must have the name of query name, and then ending with variables. Once that's done, save this. It says that it's expecting the value of type ID, but it's getting a string, right? So go back to your code and there just say that we need a ID. Save this. Go back to a terminal. Now product detail got generated. Reload the page. It says the product is null, right? Which means that we are not having anything with this particular ID, right? So what was the ID that we were using earlier? Go back to it, copy this, come back, and there we have it, right? As simple as that. In this video, we have covered hooks, which is a really powerful construct available out of Houdini. In the next video, we'll combine everything we have learned so far to build the connection page for our little e-commerce app. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.